Kumusta kayo po? Ito po si Nico Fabian. Once again, nandito naman po sa programa natin, Nick Daily Talk with Nico. And today is May 8 na po. Thanks God, it's Friday. Bukas, walang pasok tayo po. And of course, following day, Sunday, walang pasok din po. Sana okay na okay po ang Friday natin. And alam ko po, ang mga Filipinos, particularly ang mga kapatid natin dyan po sa Visayas, sa Cebu, busy sila ngayon dahil may malaking okasyon na nangyari dyan po sa this weekend, dyan po sa Cebu, no? Sa Cebu. Dahil nag-umpisa na po, officially, it was declared open ang ASEAN Leaders Summit 2026. And ang dami mga bisita tayo dyan po sa Cebu. And of course, proud na proud natin, or proud na proud tayo po dahil Cebu is one of the developed city, no? Dyan po sa Pilipinas. Malaking city yan, and developed din po. Although, last year, may konting mga problema tayo, hindi lang yung konti po, no? Kasi ang dami po na biktima sa, ito po, sa natural calamities dyan po sa Cebu. But anyway, everything is okay ngayon dyan po sa Cebu, and hope that today, tomorrow, and Sunday, okay na okay ang weather condition dyan po sa Cebu, and it will be a very successful ASEAN Summit, that ASEAN Leaders Summit 2026 po na ongoing ngayon dyan po sa Cebu. So, kudos to the government, administration natin, ang administrasyon ni President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Although earlier, medyo natakot ang administration ni Bongbong Marcos dahil maraming tayong problema po tungkol sa ekonomiya at saka sa, sabihin natin, other problems, political instability po dyan po sa Pilipinas. Some suggested na sana po i-pave way na lang itong hosting ang ASEAN Summit 2026. Bigyan na lang sa mga ibang interested parties po, no? And hindi yun nangyari. Natuloy pa rin ang hosting of Philippines for this year, ASEAN Leadership Summit 2026. Anyway, nakita natin po, since yesterday, ang dami ng mga leaders ng ASEAN countries natin, kagaya ang Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Brunei, Cambodia, Laos, dumating na po dyan sa Pilipinas kahapon pa, including ang bagong member, ang Timor-Leste. Ang Timor-Leste po. So, okay na okay. Maganda po. So, today, I am going to touch on some important issue po regarding sa political scenario natin sa Pilipinas, and at the same time, itong issue na everybody will be waiting sa Monday po, sa impeachment trial of Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, dahil we might see ang plenary ng House of Representatives voting po ang impeachment ni Inday Sara Duterte po. Kailangan ng ang House of Representatives 1/3 vote from all the 318 congressmen. It means 1/3, it means 106 lang po, no? And narinig na natin from different camps, political camps and congressmen dyan po sa Pilipinas, na many of them are confident that achieving the 106 or 1/3 required votes po will come easily. Po. In other words, when we say will come easily, they will hit the 106, and they will officially, ang plenaryo will officially impeach Inday Sara Duterte, after which the impeachment article will be transmitted to the Senate either the following day or we don't know po. Depende pa sa announcement ng Senate, Senate po, kung kailan sila will officially jumpstart ang full-blown impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte, should all the senators, 24 senators, will agree to jumpstart or to launch or to conduct the full-blown impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte. So in the meantime, let's watch and see, and tingnan natin po what will happen. No? And of course, I will be giving you some video clips kay Inday Sara Duterte, ang Vice President natin sa Pilipinas, who is out from the country ngayon po dahil nandyan po siya visiting ang tatay niya sa Netherlands or The Hague po, sa detention center of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. And mayroon din na mensahe si Tatay Digong sa mga Filipinos po. And this was announced by Inday Sara Duterte during an ambush in this interview kanina po. No? Diyan po sa DX. Later on, I will share with you itong mga interviews po. No? And mayroon din tayong mga kunting-kunting video clips sa mga congressmen natin tungkol sa impeachment. And mayroon pa other issues. But in the meantime, being our president, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, no? We are also proud that we have a president duly elected by the Filipinos po with more than 31 million votes, no? And he officially declared open this morning ang ASEAN Leadership Summit 2026. And let me share with you po ang welcoming speech ni President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. dyan po sa Cebu City. Very particular po saan yun nangyari or ano yun ang venue po. The venue is Mactan Expo. Mactan Expo dyan po sa Cebu. Ano ba ito Mactan Expo? This is the venue newly inaugurated, no? Aimed or designed ito po to attract more investors, tourists in the sector of MICE. Ano ba itong MICE? Ang MICE is meetings, initiatives, conference, and ano po? Ang MICE, meeting and exhibition. Po. Sa Sabah, mayroon din tayo dito po, no? We call it the Sabah International Convention Center. Maganda din ito po. So this is similar to itong Mactan Expo is similar to itong Sabah International Convention Center. Lahat mga exhibition, international exhibition, this is the venue po, no? Venue para gawa itong mga meetings and exhibitions and conferences. So yun po sa Mactan Expo yun po. So nandito ang full sabihin natin welcoming speech of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, which together with he officially launched or announced the opening of this summit together with the First Lady. First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos. Let's watch and listen to the speech of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Nandito po. Alright. Nandito, let's watch.
It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 48th ASEAN Summit and related meetings here in the Philippines, Queen City of the South, Cebu. At the outset, allow me to convey my sincere appreciation for your presence at this important gathering. I recognize that each delegation has traveled here despite demanding schedules and pressing responsibilities at home. That you have chosen to be here reflects not only the urgency and significance of the occasion, but also our shared commitment to the enduring values that continue to bind our region together: dialogue, cooperation, and mutual respect. Ladies and gentlemen, it is especially meaningful that we gather in this historic place. As a pre-colonial trading historic province of Cebu has served as a gateway to our beautiful country. Long before our modern borders existed, Cebu already stood as a crossroads of trade, ideas, and peoples. Half a century ago, Cebu witnessed the birth of Philippine international connectivity, the introduction of a lasting spiritual and cultural heritage, and the beginnings of a major regional hub. 20 years ago, within these very grounds, leaders of our region signed the Cebu Declaration on the blueprint of the ASEAN Charter, which marked significant progress in transforming ASEAN's cooperation framework into a stronger, more coherent institutional architecture, laying the essential groundwork for the eventual signing of the ASEAN Charter in 2007. It is therefore a fitting place for our summit, providing us with a valuable opportunity to advance regional cooperation, economic resilience, and sustainability under the Philippine chairship, anchored on the theme, Navigating Our Future Together. Ladies and gentlemen, we once more find ourselves here in Cebu at a defining moment in our shared journey. As we gather then for an important milestone, so do we stand together today to demonstrate ASEAN's capacity to respond with unity, with wisdom, with resolve, at a time when our region is once again faced with profound uncertainty. For we meet at a time of considerable challenge. Across our region and beyond, nations continue to navigate an increasingly complex global environment. The increasingly volatile situation in the Middle East has impacted our region, challenging us to remain agile in the face of the uncertainties which threaten lifestyles, livelihoods, and lives. Many of our countrymen continue to look to us, their leaders, not only for stability, but for reassurance and for hope. Over the past months, each of our countries has had to make adjustments to modify our approaches. So we come together now to study those adjustments, to find the best approaches, to face the future together. For the Philippines, we made the difficult decision to recalibrate our ASEAN chairship hosting in response to the Middle East conflict through the scaling down of non-essential activities and shifting of applicable meetings from physical to virtual platforms. Despite the said calibration, we strive to remain responsive to the needs of our ASEAN community and focus on fulfilling our chairship goals. The work of ASEAN must continue, not despite the challenges, but because the times demand our answers to those challenges, for our peoples, for our countries, for ASEAN. My appreciation extends to ASEAN and our partners in ASEAN, because despite facing deep challenges of your own, you have come to support us and to work with us to respond to this crisis. We have strengthened our coordination where possible. Our foreign, economic, agriculture, and energy ministers have met to lay out plans with their sectors. Joint meetings between the political security and economic pillars were held to align our responses. We have all done what we can, individually and collectively, to ensure that even amidst uncertainty, the work of building our ASEAN community continues. Ladies and gentlemen, our theme of navigating our future together has always held true for ASEAN, but now more than ever, it is a principle that we must continue to share, an idea we must continue to embrace. If there is one lesson ASEAN has learned over the decades, it is that difficult times do not divide us. For ASEAN challenges present us with opportunities that have further strengthened our resolve to work more closely, to listen more carefully, and to act more purposefully. This summit gathering is evidence of that commitment. It reflects our shared understanding that especially in moments of difficulty, engagement remains essential. That when circumstances are challenging, partnership is more than ever indispensable. And that even when the future appears uncertain, hope remains the responsibility of leadership. welcome all of you, reminded of the significance of our gathering. For ASEAN has always drawn its strength not from uniformity, but from unity. So as we begin our work today, let our discussions be guided by wisdom, openness, and our enduring commitment to one another. Aligned with the Philippines' three Ps, peace and security anchors, prosperity corridors, and people empowerment, our discussions today will chart our course as we navigate our future together. Once again, I thank you for your presence and welcome you to the 48th ASEAN Summit. Mabuhay at maraming salamat.
Okay, yun po. Narinig natin ang welcoming speech ng presidente natin, ng presidente ng Pilipinas, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. po during the opening ceremony of the ASEAN Leadership Summit 2026. This is the 40th, no? The 40th. During the summit po, these mga leaders ng ASEAN countries, they will be discussing, having meeting, conferences on how to address ang mga problema. Mayroon sila po, no? Para sa region natin po, no? Kagaya ang economic issues, security issues, likewise may mga political issues din po, no? Mga political issues po. And yun po ang beauty of this summit po, no? This is the beauty of the summit, and we expect there will be good result, no? For this year or in this year's ASEAN Leadership Summit po. In fact, I was made to understand, nakita ko sa mga news na po, ang Vietnam at saka ang Pilipinas, si Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. already successfully came to an agreement with Vietnam on the supply of fragrant rice para sa Pilipinas po. They agreed that there will be no disruption in the sabihin natin supplying of rice coming from Vietnam until 2027 po. Di maganda yon po, no? Kasi alam na natin ang Pilipinas, we are one country na ito ang stable food natin po, ang rice or ang bigas natin po. And alam natin sa ang Vietnam is one of the major source ng bigas, ng rice para sa region o para sa nation natin po, no? Sana lang po ang presyo din po, they will be talking na hindi masyadong mahal po dahil mahirap na ngayon ang mga Pilipino dahil tumaas na lahat ang mga bilihan sa Pilipinas po. In fact, magkano ba ngayon ang presyo sa Maynila ang isang kilo ng bigas? We heard is 50 something and coming up to 60. And mayroon pa, narinig natin po, fears that ang presyo ng bigas will continue to jumbo hike, no? Jumbo hike po. Sana lang po, wag na po, no? Sana wag na lang, kasi nandito po ang problema natin sa langis natin, ang fuel natin po. Dahil sa Middle East conflict, sa Middle East conflict po. So, yan, we hope and pray na everything will be successful. Lahat ng mga whatever agreements, memorandum of understanding, memorandum of agreement between mga leaders ng Asian countries natin po will be successfully signed, no? For the betterment of everybody po, no? Of everybody dito sa region natin. So yun po ang natin, ang update natin tungkol sa leadership summit ng ASEAN po, which started today po, no? Today. So, okay, let's move to another topic, and this time around, as what I mentioned earlier po, na si Vice President Inday Sara Duterte nasa Netherlands visiting her father, no? Despite or amid itong impeachment trial, complaint sa kanya po, she went to, sabi natin, sa detention center, nagbisita siya sa tatay niya, and normal lang niya po, being a daughter, no? being a daughter, now worried din siya ang sitwasyon ng tatay niya po. And during the visitation, after she left ang detention center ni Tatay Digong, she was ambushed by some Filipinos and asked some questions sa kanya po. Let's watch and listen to this video clip na I prepared for all of you po. And nandito po ang mga mensahe ni Inday Sara Duterte, ang Vice President natin po. And ang mga reply niya po in others or other question raised sa kanya po during the ambush interview. Let's watch and listen to this. Nandito po. Hold on. Okay, let's watch and listen to this po.
Sabi niya na yung nandoon siya sa loob, yun ay sakripisyo na daw. So hindi niyo daw kailangan magsakripisyo dito sa labas sa Duterte Street. Ang gawin niyo daw ay magdasal para sa bayan at para kay Bongbong Marcos. Kasi tinanong niya ako kanina, sabi niya ko, dito pa rin ba daw kayo? Sabi ko, oo. Tapos sabi niya, so nasa ilalim sila ng init. Sabi ko, oo. Tapos sabi niya, sabihin mo sa kanila, huwag sila magpainit. At sinabi ko na gusto niyo yung init. Unlike sa Pilipinas na nagtatago tayo pag nandiyan na yung init, apparently kayong mga tiga-Europa at tiga mga lugar na malamig ay gusto nyo yung nasa ilalim kayo ng init.
Ma'am, a little bit of politics lang, ma'am.
Lagi,
What is your reaction, ma'am, to the government actually going after individuals in the name of Jay Sonsa, Ka Eric, Eloy Bocas is also part of those who are going to be subpoenaed, ma'am, with respect to them airing their or exercising their freedom of expression. Do you have any reaction to this kind of attempt to suppress the freedom of expression?
ano yan? Masyadong sensitive mga ganyan na mga tao na apektado sa opinion ng ordinaryong mamamayan ay sensitive, insecure, at that is the power of the individuals that they are going after. Takot sila dyan sa kanila.
If you're going to give an advice to this individual, ma'am, because knowing ikaw, ma'am, kaliwat kanan ang paninira sa iyo, but still you remain graceful, beautiful, radiant. What can you say as a tip para sa mga taong ito, para maging as beautiful as you are?
Unang-una, kailangan nila ng plastic surgery para kabulin ito. Pangalawa, kapag pangulo ka na, hindi na mahalaga kung ano yung atake sa iyo ng mga mamamayan. Kasi kasama yan sa trabaho. Dapat ang tinututukan mo ay yung paano mo maging mamayapa at maunlad ang bayan. Yan yung dapat na tinututukan. Hindi yung kung ano yung sinasabi.
Alright, yun po, narinig natin si Inday Sara Duterte and just, lang po, recap lang tayo po. The other day, she was also talking about yun na impeachment sa kanya po. So sabi ni Inday Sara Duterte or Vice President Inday Sara Duterte that he's less bothered about the impeachment complaint sa kanya po, no? He said he will just leave it to God, no? Sa Diyos na lang po. Kung sakali he will not be able to defend ang vice president seat niya po, then okay lang sa kanya po, no? But if gusto talaga ang Panginoon na siya pa rin ang vice president and who knows, baka sa 2028 she will be the next president of the country or sa Pilipinas po, then okay din daw sa kanya po. And he will just leave it. She will just leave it to the Creator or kay God po ang destiny, no? Kasi everything plano na yan po ng Diyos natin. Yon po ang mensahe ni Vice President Inday Sara Duterte when she was asked on this particular issue po, no? This particular issue the other day. So, yon na po. Ganon na po ang ready na ready, sabi ni Inday Sara Duterte. She's ready to face ang allegation sa kanya po during the full-blown impeachment trial sa Senado po because she believes that itong trial po is the right forum for her to answer lahat ang mga allegations po. And she's looking also forward for this full-blown impeachment trial dahil sabi niya po para malaman na po ang mga tao who is telling the truth po. So less bothered na siya po whether makuha yun 106 or 1/3 votes sa House of Representatives or hindi. Depende na yun po. Sabi niya, I'm less bothered and ready na siya for the impeachment trial. Kung sakali matuloy yun po dyan po sa Senado. So most likely kung sa Monday they will vote, ang House of Representatives will be voting and they will have this 100 or 1/3 votes out of the 318 congressmen, no? Then most likely it will be transmitted to the Senate, and according to Senate President Tito Soto, na kung maaari lang, the way how he defined ang forthwith. He said forthwith means immediately, no? Immediately po. So let's see what will happen. And most likely may mga haka-haka na po in the event everything goes or everything is in order ng sa impeachment article ni Inday Sara Duterte. Most likely we will see ang proceedings will start, no? By June, maybe second week of June siguro yun po, no? And anyway, kung may mga updates, I will make sure that kayo, mga Filipinos, kababayan ko po dito sa Malaysia, particularly dito po sa Sabah, and very specific, dito po sa Kota Kinabalu. Likewise, ang mga followers natin po dito sa NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico, mga overseas Filipino workers and the Filipino migrants sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo po. And of course, ang mga kababayan, kapatid at kaibigan natin po dyan mismo sa bayan natin, sa Pilipinas po, you will be properly informed via itong programa natin, NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico. Alright, mayroon ako dito video clip. I want to share brief video clip ito po regarding sa ito na, 1/3. 1/3 vote po. No? Ito po, let's watch and listen to this po. Okay, nandito po si Inday Sara Duterte commenting on the voting sa Monday.
So, madami ang kumipera gamit ang pangalan ko. So, unta, mawisikan na ilahang mga constituents sa kwarta silang pulsa o silang maleta.
Perhaps you can entertain
Okay, yun po, sabi ni Inday Sara Duterte, no? Kasi alam nyo, narinig natin na those who will vote for the impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte, ito mga kakalang ito po, no? We heard social media and some reports coming from the legit media out there dyan po sa Pilipinas. May mga reports po, they're saying na mayroon istorya daw ngayon po, those who will be supporting for the impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte, hindi sila mahirapan ang mga proyekto nila sa mga lugar nila po, mga congressmen po, no? They will get ang necessary financial support to help materialize ang sabi natin mga proposed development projects ng mga congressmen sa mga respective areas of responsibilities or jurisdiction ng mga congressmen. But if you are not or if you will vote for no or negative sa impeachment ni Inday Sara Duterte, sabi nila po, mahirap, no? Mahirap daw po mag-release ang, sabihin natin, ang pondo para sa mga development projects ng mga congressmen. So, mga politicians also, we heard and saw and heard and see sa mga social media na they said that they are going to go for conscience votes, no? Ibig sabihin po, when you say conscience vote po, ibig sabihin, kung ako ang congressman, wala akong fear, no? What will happen to me if I will vote yes or I will vote no, no? Wala akong fear po, no? Basta ang konsensya ko po, ang boto ko will help protect the interest and welfare ng mga constituents ko po, no? Yung mga tao ko po sa lugar ko. So, yun po. But looking at the situation now po, ito conscience vote po, mahirap na ito. Conscience vote na ito po. Because kung ang mga congressmen po, mga congressmen po, they have to think whether they will look after ang interest talaga ng mga tao nila po, sacrificing ang futuro nila po as a politician po, no? Kasi narinig na natin po ang mga tao, some people are saying na if you are going to vote for the impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte po, ang mga tao po, ang masa will mark you in the next election po, and that will be 2028. So ano kaya po ang decision? So karamihan po we heard na what the Filipinos wants is that every congressman as early as last month or last week, no? Sana lang po they went down already sa mga sa grassroots nila po and ask ano ang desisyon ng mga constituents niya po to vote yes or to vote no po. And kung sabi natin ang mga tao nila po no, then they will vote for no. Yun po dapat, no? To follow ang boses ng masa, no? I heard that si Congressman Joel Chua also, according to the interview kanina, I heard kay Ted Filon po, sabi niya po, he already went and talked to ang mga barangay captain niya po, no? And asked ano ang sentiments, no? Anong gusto ang mga tao nila po. And out of 10, 9 daw po gusto mag-impeach kay Inday Sara Duterte. Sa Mindanao, sa Visayas po, no? Ano ang posisyon ng mga respective congressmen po? Are you going to think about your future or your future political career, or you will listen to the anong gusto ang mga tao ninyo po, ang constituents ninyo po? So, I will just leave it this way po, no? I will leave it this way. So, in the meantime, mayroon din tayo dito po. Isang video clip, nag-interview din po kay Ate Claire, no? Ang Undersecretary ng Malacanang spokesman, si Claire Castro po, no? Regarding ang mga statement made by Vice President Sara Duterte just recently po. Let's watch and listen to this. Medyo ako din po, sabi ko, ganon na ba talaga? May qualification na pala. Let's watch and listen itong statement made by Undersecretary Claire Castro po. Hold on po, nandito. Okay, sandali po. Let's watch and listen to this. Hold on po. Okay, medyo sandali. Okay. Okay, nandito. Alright. Sorry for the delay.
Patunay niya, inamin niya mismo na siya ay hindi marunong gumamit ng computer at ginagamit lamang niya ito kapag nagsuzoom. So most probably may tagapindot pa siya nito. At yun ang nakakaalama dahil nais niyang maging pangulo. Pero paano siyang magkakaroon ng tamang siya. Ni paggamit ng computer ay hindi niya alam. At inamin naman niya to nung siya ay DepEd Secretary. Pati yung matatag curriculum, hindi niya ito kayang i-review dahil ang sabi niya, wala siyang alam. At ang kaya niya lang gawin ay magpupok ng tao. So, paano mamamahala ang isang kagaya ng Vice Presidente na magpupok ng tao nang hindi niya nare-review yung mga ginagawa ng mga taong inutusan.
Yan po, narinig natin si Ate Claire po, no? Criticizing or commenting on the recent statement of Inday Sara Duterte. Doon sabi niya po, tungkol, si Inday Sara Duterte was reacting on the fake news po na tinapon daw niya po ang laptop kay Attorney Mike Poa, which is really a fake news po, no? Which is really a fake news po coming from dyan po sa administrasyon, no? Sa administrasyon po, nag-comment din yan po si Attorney si Yusek Claire Castro po. Marami din po nagalit kay Ate Claire dahil po ang mga fake news daw, so-called fake news. Hindi natin alam kung fake news ba ito. Pero based on the reaction of the general public po, dyan po sa social media, no? Kagaya yun, sabi niya, hindi daw kaibigan ni Pangulong Marcos si Franco Mabanta, no? Ang Peanut Gallery Media Network boss, no? Kasi nahuli sa kanya ang National Bureau of Investigation the other day po. So lumabas na ang dami talaga mga videos at saka pictures na contradicting to the statement of Yusek Castro. And hindi lang yan po, dami pa mga other statements, news pronouncement made by Undersecretary Claire Castro, which ang mga Filipinos, many of them, contradicted po. They even going to the extent of, they claim lang po, na fake news ang mga announcement ni Yusek Castro, si Ate Claire po. Pero kayo na bahala po, no? I will leave it to you po, you judge, no? Kung totoo ba yun, fake news ba yun o hindi, ang mga statements made by the administration, Marcos administration, via kay some statement made by Undersecretary Claire Castro po. Depende yan sa inyo po, no? I will just leave it to you po. Wala tayong ano dyan because ang purpose ko po is only to make sure that you will get what is ang mga news po, what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas. Alright? So, ngayon, let's go to another topic. And this time around po, ang topic natin, considering we are talking about the impeachment ni Inday Sara Duterte, and very vocal naman itong congressman, si Congressman Egay Erice, I will share with you po a portion of his privilege speech which he gave sa Kongreso po last Monday yata po, Monday or Tuesday. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, nandito po. Let me share with you and kayo na po bahala ang mga opinion ninyo po. And nandito, let's watch and listen to this.
May hawak.
Okay, nandito po. Medyo mabigat ang mga salita ni Congressman Erice po. Let's watch and listen to this.
Ng bilyong-bilyon dahil yung mismong nangunguna sa impeachment process ang siyang may hawak ng bilyong-bilyong pondo na nawala, nadala sa mga alokasyon na nadala sa mga flood control at anomalous projects. Let us examine the status of the four later release allocations. Let us see if this correlates with how members will be voting in the 20th Congress. Yung bumoto ba ng yes? Maririlisan? Yung ba bumoto ng no? At yung mga abstain? Maririlisan? Malalaman natin ang katotohanan sooner or later. Ang impeachment
impeachment na ito ay maliwanag na disenyo ng Marcos administration, hindi para malaman ang buong katotohanan at para panagutin, kundi upang pabagsakin ang kalaban sa politika.
All those against, the say nay. The ayes have it. The said conference committee report is ratified.
Maraming mga pahayag na nakakabahala, ngunit hindi natin ito iniimbestigahan. Kung susuriin lang natin ang mga allocation sa mga distrito ng mga legislators na aktibo sa impeachment process noong nakaraan, marami pa rin mga aktibo ngayon. In particular, in the 2024 and the 2025 national budget, magugulat tayo sa laki nito. Even in my opponent in the last elections, the 2025 elections, publicly admitted that she signed the impeachment of VP Sara Duterte in aid of allocation. Natatakot siya na hindi siya mabibigyan ng pondo kung hindi siya pipirma sa impeachment. Mr. Speaker, I will not dissuade by allocations, by power or loss of it, by fear or threats. I will stand by the dictates of my conscience, guided by my discernment and prayers, and what I believe is for the betterment of our country. Kasaysayan ng musga kung sino ang umaatras sa laban at kung sino ang nakikipagsabwatan. Ako si Agayrisen ng Caloocan, nanindigan noong EDSA 1, nanindigan noong EDSA 2, lumaban kay Duterte sa war on drugs, 40 taong lumaban sa mga political dynasties, lumaban para kay Noynoy, para kay Cory, para kay Mar Rojas, pagtuloy na lalaban sa Administrasyong Marcos hanggang hindi nito masusumpungan ang katinoan. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, yun po, narinig natin ang privilege speech, a portion of the privilege speech of Congressman or Representative Erice po the other day. Okay? From Congressman, punta tayo sa Senado and ang topic ito po is tungkol sa Blue Ribbon Committee ni Chairman Ping Lacson, Senator Ping Lacson, and I'm referring to a portion of the privilege speech of Senator Rodante Marcoleta po, no? Rodante Marcoleta. Let's watch and listen to the portion of the privilege speech of Senator Rodante Marcoleta po. Nandito. Let's watch and listen to this. Okay, nandito po.
Bakit ko pipirmahan yung partial report? Isa po sa hindi ko matanggap-tanggap to sa partial report ay yung isa sa kanyang mga rekomendasyon tungkol sa sino ang mga taong dapat na ipaghabla. Tingnan po ninyo, Ginoong Pangulo, doon sa kategoryang public officials categorized under recommendations for preliminary investigation, ang dami pong legislators doon. Pinangungunahan na po ni Saldico at marami pa pong iba. Sa mga intermediaries po, Mr. President, binanggit niya si Undersecretary Traigib Olaybar. Binanggit niya yung Maynard Lu. Hindi ko po alam kung sino yung Carlin Villayap, J.Y. De La Rosa, Mrs. Patron, Lawrence Cruz, John Paul Estrada, Mark Tiksay, alias Peng. Pero wala po yung Yusek Adrian Bersamin na siya mismong naghayag sa plenaryo nung nagkakaroon po ng plenary debates na po sa ating budget. Siyang naghayag mismo sa pangalan ni Yusek Bersamin at ayon sa kanya, niname drop niya ang pangalan ng Pangulo. Sinabi rin po ni Saldico, yung 30 Tamarind Street na kung saan
ko. At ang tumanggap po noon ay si Yusek Jojo Cadiz. Napakabigat na akusasyon. Bilang Pangulo, wala man lang po rito sa dapat na banggitin na intermediaries. Nasaan po ang pangalan ni former Speaker Martin Romualdez? Nilagay po niya doon sa classification ng public officials categorized under fact-finding investigation. Ang laki po ng depression ng fact-finding investigation sa preliminary investigation. Bakit po yung tinuturo mismo na mastermind, yung pa po yung nasa wala po sa preliminary investigation, nasa fact-finding lang. Tingnan po ninyo yung mga lumabas sa mga dyaryo, sa mga periodiko, Ginoong Pangulo. Billionaire News Channel dated May 5, 2026. Ombudsman, Romualdez umanong tinuturing mastermind sa controversial na flood control scandal. Politico.com dated May 5, 2026. With 56 billion in supposed kickbacks, Ombudsman tags Martin Romualdez as mastermind of flood control scam. Abante dated May 5, 2026. Ombudsman, Romualdez Co. mastermind ng 56 billion flood control kickbacks. Abogado.com PH dated May 5, 2026. Ombudsman panel tags Romualdez and Co. as masterminds. Dito pa lang po sablay na yung report Nandun lang siya sa fact-finding, samantalang ang ombudsman, tinag na po siya, isa sa mastermind. Saan po papunta ang report? Ginoong Pangulo. Ginoong Pangulo, ang Senado ay hindi dapat maging entablado para sa mga intrigero na alam naman natin kung ano ang totoong motibo. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo.
Okay, yun po, narinig natin na si Senator Rodante Marcoleta sa privilege speech niya the other day dyan po sa Senado. I'm sharing with you these things po, hindi to create the intrigues, no? I just want to share with you itong mga video clips, mga congressman, mga senador po, dahil I want that you will have a clear picture of what is happening sa Pilipinas po. Both sides po, no? Both sides po, no? I don't want to be biased. So, ito ang latest. Remember, the other day, lumabas din sa mga dyaryo dyan po sa Pilipinas, including sa social media, sa online news po, no? Na sinabi naman na si Senator Ping Lacson, ang Blue Ribbon Committee, yon ang problema po, no? So, medyo the people are not happy with the announcement made by Senator Ping Lacson po. And kailan nyo po they will resume itong Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, we still don't know po. So yun lang po. That is the thing that I want to share with you. And kayo na bahala po to make your own opinion, to assess kung sino who is telling the truth, sino ang correct, or sino ang hindi tama po. Hindi tama. So, sige lang po. Friday ngayon, dapat enjoy tayo ang Friday natin po. And tomorrow and Sunday will be I hope it will be a problem-free weekend para sa ating lahat po. To those who are celebrating the birthday today po, wag natin kalimutan po, i-greet natin sa kanila happy birthday po. And special greetings also goes to my daughter who is celebrating ang birthday niya po today. Si Shane Iris Fabian, who is celebrating her birthday today. And good health, prosperous new chapter sa buhay ni Shane Iris, coming from, of course, sa akin bilang isang tatay na po who really loves her. And coming from sa nanay niya po, si Mary Lou, no? Same thing, she also loves you as how much I love you. And coming from mga kapatid, brothers and sisters ni Shane Iris Fabian. Sa lahat who is celebrating the birthday, happy birthday to each and every one of you. Huwag natin kalimutan, on Sunday, we are going to celebrate ang Mother's Day. Don't forget to greet ang mga mothers natin on Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. So, I hope maski paano, I managed to not only entertain you for the past few minutes po, several minutes, but at least I hope I managed to give you or update you kung what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas. So in the meantime, siguro hanggang dito na lang muna tayo po. Once again, si Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Happy weekend kayo, and advance happy Mother's Day to all the mothers po. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all. And I'll see you in my next episode. Bye, and I love you.